Hi everyone! Usually when I make cakes I use a boxed cake mix, but today I made a chocolate ganache cake from scratch for the first time, and I'm so excited for the way it turned out. It's a little lopsided and messy, but I think it's still going to taste good. Here's how I made it.
Add 2 cups of flour. Add 1 3/4 cup of granulated white sugar. Add 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. A half teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of salt. Make sure all the dry ingredients are sifted and combined. In a separate bowl, add a half cup of canola oil. Add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Add 1 cup of buttermilk. Add 3 eggs. Make sure the wet ingredients are completely combined and then slowly add in the hot water. You don't want to cook the eggs, so make sure you add the hot water a little bit at a time and stir. Add the dry ingredients a little bit at a time and stir. Divide the batter evenly in 3 round cake pans that were sprayed. Bake in the oven at 350 degrees for 18 to 25 minutes. Allow the cakes to cool on a cooling rack once they are baked. In a saucepan, you are going to heat up 1/2 cup of heavy cream until it's steaming. Pour the hot cream over the chocolate chips and let it sit for 1 minute before stirring.
Sift together 7 cups of powdered sugar and 1 1/2 cups of cocoa powder. Make sure you use a big mixing bowl because I had to switch bowls. My first bowl was too small. Beat 8 ounces of cream cheese with a paddle for 1 minute. Add 1 1/2 cups of butter and beat for 1 to 2 more minutes. Scrape the sides. Begin to add the powdered sugar and cocoa mix a little bit at a time. The mixture will be very thick, so now you're going to add 1/4 cup of heavy cream, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, a pinch of salt. Now turn the mixer on high for 3 minutes straight until the frosting is light and fluffy. Put a little frosting on the cake stand, and then you're going to put the first layer of cake bottom side up. Okay, so I put the bottom side up first on the first layer, and one of the tricks I learned from watching on the Food Network when you frost a cake is they put parchment paper on the edges so that you get the cake board clean. When you are done frosting, you can just pull this off and it should be cleaner. You don't have to worry about any excess frosting on the cake board for presentation. I put one layer of the chocolate frosting on the bottom layer of the cake, and then I am now spreading the chocolate ganache in the middle of the chocolate frosting. Now I'll get the second layer of cake and I'll put the bottom side down. After the second layer of frosting, I'm going to add the next layer of ganache in the middle. Looks so good. Look at that. So smooth. And now I'll add the last layer of cake with the bottom side up. Now it's time to frost the rest of the cake. Yum. Looks so good. Look at that frosting. So I had leftover brownie brittle and I decided to crush it up in a bag, and I'm going to go ahead and add a crumb coat on the very bottom around the border of the cake. Some of the crumbs and sticking it to the bottoms of the cake. It's a good thing I have that parchment paper so I can just pull it out because it's making a big mess. This is 3/4 cups of heavy cream that was steamed in the pan and poured over 1 cup of chocolate chips. I let it sit for a minute, and now it is smooth and glossy and ready for me to pour over the top of the cake. So I spread the ganache on the top of the cake and I let it drip over the sides. Now I'm going to put it in the freezer for a few minutes and then decorate the rest of the cake. I put the frosting in my Pampered Chef cake decorator, and now I'm just adding some rosettes along the edges of